This is Wayne from My Tech News, and in this video I'm going to be doing a post review of the Sony WH-1000X M2 noise cancelling wireless Bluetooth headphones from Sony. I've had these headphones now 2 or 3 months at this point, and I've already did my initial review of this product. So if you'd like to see my initial review of this product, I will leave a link down in the description, but I thought I would update you guys on my experience with this headphone and tell you guys whether these headphones are worth the money, whether these headphones are not worth the money, overall my experience with these headphones, because for the last 2 or 3 months these have pretty much been my go-to headphones, so I have a pretty good understanding of how these headphones work, everything about this product, and everything like that. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Now, at the current time of this recording, these are the current flagship noise canceling headphones from Sony. These headphones run around $350, but the good news is most of the time, or a lot of the time, you can find these around $300, depending on what time of year you look, depending on what retailer you go to, and also if you don't want to buy these new, you can probably get these refurbished or used for a lot less if you're not willing to spend $350 for headphones, because I do have to admit $350 for a lot of people is very expensive when you look at headphones, and there's other options on the market, and there's even other noise canceling headphones on the market. Now let's pretty much talk about everything the Sony WH-1000X M2 have to offer. First and foremost, I must say these are geared towards noise canceling. That's what they're really marketed for, so don't expect the most amazing sound. I'm sure there's other headphones on the market that definitely beat these when it comes to sound quality, and also keep in mind these are closed back headphones. They're not open back headphones, whereas open back headphones will give you much more bigger sound stage, a much more better sound stage, but keep in mind that those aren't really meant for traveling, so these are pretty much meant for traveling, and the main reason you're going to be picking up something like this is for the noise canceling. That's probably your primary goal, and that's probably why you're looking at these headphones, because if you weren't really caring about noise canceling, there's other options on the market that probably beat these Sonys. I'm just trying to keep it as real as I can with you guys with these headphones. But let's talk about the noise canceling aspect. That is the biggest aspect of these headphones, and that's why you're going to be buying these headphones. And right out the gate, I must say these are an amazing pair of cans when it comes to noise canceling. If your primary goal is noise canceling and you want something to drown out as much noise as possible, these are going to be some of the best cans you can buy on the market. Now, I know a lot of people are going to compare these Sony headphones to the current Bose noise cancelling headphones, the Bose QC35s. I cannot really say anything about the Bose QC35. I have tried them in store, but I really haven't tried them for a long period, so I can't say how the noise cancelling is on the Bose QC35. I don't want this video to seem like a comparison video with the Bose QC35, but a lot of people are going to compare it to the Bose QC35. But what I can say, just using these alone, these are an amazing pair of noise cancelling headphones. Keep in mind, if you never used noise cancelling before and you never tried it, you may think noise cancelling means you put on the headphones and it drowns out noise completely, but that is not the case. When you put on a pair of noise cancelling headphones, even the best ones like these or the QC35, you're going to be able to hear some things in the environment. Basically what noise cancelling does, it allows you to hear more of your music and less of your surroundings. So it pretty much turns the decibel sound way down when it comes to noise around you. You can still hear a lot of noises. Like for instance, if you're driving a car at 80 miles an hour and you throw these things on, you can still hear the car going at 80 miles an hour. You can hear the wind, you can hear the engine, but it's going to be less than what it would be if you didn't have noise canceling. And what I can say is I've used these in a bunch of different scenarios. The most obvious scenario I've used them in is driving a car at about 80 to 70 miles an hour, and what I can say is it does a phenomenal job of keeping the engine noise of the car very low. Also, it does help with the wind noise flaring by your car and everything like that. It really does feel like you can't even really hear it. You can hear it slightly, but it's slightly enough to where you can still enjoy your music, and that's what I really love about these headphones. I love the fact that you can still hear your music and the levels are so low. It is an enjoyable experience, to whereas if you didn't have noise canceling, you'd be able to hear the car engine noise, you'd be able to hear all the wind blowing by your car as you're driving 70, 80 miles an hour. So that's very nice that these allow you to do that. Also, keep in mind there are some noises with these Sony headphones that do actually come through clear as day. Like for instance, people's voices. If you want to drown out people's voices, unfortunately, this won't really do it. I'm not sure, again, going back to the Bose QC35, I'm not sure if the Bose QC35 will allow you to actually drown out people's voices, but here, unfortunately, you can still hear people's voices clear as day, which does kind of suck, but it's really not a big deal. It's still better than not having noise canceling at all. But for the bigger noises, like I said, car engines, like a generator, like for instance, the other day I had a car generator, or not a car generator, excuse me, I had a generator off in the distance that somebody was powering, and it was very loud, and then when I put on my noise canceling headphones, it pretty much stopped it completely, which is nice. But then again, it was kind of far off, and it was very loud. But since it was far off, I put on the noise canceling headphones, and I couldn't even hear that generator at all. Now, unfortunately, I haven't used these in a scenario that you would typically want to use these, like an airplane, so I can't really comment on how well these work in an airplane. I'm assuming these work very amazingly in an airplane. There's also supposed to be a feature on these headphones that allows the headphones to compensate for the air pressure in the cabin of an airplane, so you're supposed to get the most optimal noise cancellation when you're in an airplane. I cannot confirm that since I haven't really flown on an airplane. I haven't found a need to fly in an airplane, but I just thought I would do that. So the noise canceling, basically what I'm saying is an A+ when it comes to noise canceling. If your primary goal is noise canceling and you want some of the best cans, these are a phenomenal job when it comes to noise canceling. Let's talk about some of the other features these Sony headphones have. Some of the other features these headphones have is you can actually change the different modes in it. What I mean by that is there's different modes, like for instance, noise canceling is a mode, and then they got ambient sound, then they also got an off mode, so you can play around. For instance, maybe you don't want to hear certain sounds, but you still want to hear people's voices more clearly. You can change the like ambient sound to where it lets in certain sounds and not lets in certain sounds. I've tried those modes, and honestly I found them kind of gimmicky, so most of the time I pretty much leave noise canceling on, excuse me. Also, I've noticed if you play with the other modes in this Sony noise canceling headphones, like ambient sound, or even if you turn off the noise cancellation completely, I noticed that your music starts to get a little bit more muddy, a little bit more just overall, it really doesn't sound really well in my experience. So what I find is I pretty much just leave noise canceling on all the time. So it may vary from person to person and what scenario you're in, depending on what type of sounds are around you, what you have going on. But yeah, I really couldn't use anything but the standard noise canceling mode on this. So usually I just leave these on the noise canceling mode altogether when it comes to these headphones. It also has another mode built into these headphones, to whereas if you're just wearing these out and about and someone wants to talk to you, all you have to do is put your right hand up to the right cup. You just pretty much just lay it on there, and it has a sensor on it, and the sensor pretty much mutes the volume of your music and mutes the noise canceling as long as you have your hand up to the right ear cup and you're putting it on there, and then you can talk to people, and then once you're done with then you can let go of your hand and it'll resume your music and it'll turn back on the noise canceling without you having to take off the headphones or without you actually having to pause your music. I find that a very useful feature, and I use that pretty much all the time, and I know for a fact that is something the Bose QC35 have, or heck, not a lot of headphones out there have some great features like that, and that's one reason I wanted these headphones, because that feature alone makes it worth it to me, just because it is so convenient. If someone wants to talk to me, I just throw up my right hand to my ear, it mutes the volume, and it also turns off the noise canceling, and I can hear people, talk to people, and everything like that, and then it's a very good. Of course, you do look kind of silly doing that, but it's still a very great option that you have an option like that to where you can pretty much do it without taking off the headphones or pausing your song. I just thought that was a very nice feature that Sony did, which not a lot of people are doing that in the headphone game, so I thought that was very good. Charging time on these headphones are about 3 or 4 hours, so it's not the fastest thing. Luckily, these headphones have a fast charging built in. Fast charging, I think you can do it for like 15 minutes, which gets you an hour and a half of music, somewhere around there. So it does implement fast charging, and that is very good in situations where you would need fast charging or maybe you don't have a lot of juice. But luckily with these headphones, if you charge them the full charge 3 or 4 hours, you get about 25, 26, 27 hours. Sony claims 30 hours. I have not tested it, but I'm going to assume you don't get the advertised amount of 30 hours. I'm assuming you get somewhere between 26, 27, 28 hours. And honestly, when I charge these up all the way, I can usually go about 2 weeks of hard listening before I have to recharge these. So that is an amazing feature that you never really have to charge these headphones. And like I said, if they ever do die, you can do the 15 minutes. 15 minutes allows you to get an hour and a half of music. So that is not really a big deal altogether. And since the battery is amazing, that is good. And also, since this does charge off a USB, of course, you can charge this on a backup battery. If you're ever in a situation where you have a backup battery or need to charge these phones, you're good to go. And on top of that, if your battery ever dies, you can actually use a cable provided in the box. This does do your standard 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which you can plug into the thing. And one thing I must say about the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack is the fact that when you're using that, if you turn on the headphones itself, you can still get noise canceling with the headphone jack, which is nice. So if you ever need the headphone jack, you can get that as long as you have battery in them. If you don't have battery in them, then you're pretty much out of luck when it comes to noise canceling and the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Now let's talk about the comfort of these, because you may be wondering about the comfort. A lot of people say these aren't as comfortable as the QC35. I can't really comment on that. However, I have used another pair of Bose headphones, which are wireless, and they're pretty much the same design and the same comfort as the QC35 line. And what I can say is Bose does make the best comforting headphones on the market when it comes to comfort. If you want to throw on a headphone and never worrying about it being on your head and just making it feel as comfortable as possible, these still don't beat it, and they're not the most uncomfortable thing. And what I can say is, on my initial review, I said that these headphones, after about 4 or 5 hours, I had to readjust these headphones. Well, honestly, now that's not the case. The reason I said that back then is because I didn't actually have these headphones adjusted, because, of course, like any other normal headphones, you do have a band that you can adjust. And once I found the right adjustment, I can pretty much throw these on for 5-6 hours and not worrying about any clamping issue with my head, or not worry about any thing on my head. It just pretty much feels good. Although you can still notice them on your head, it's not really bad. Of course, I want to make this really clear as well. It'll vary between person to person, so maybe it'll be uncomfortable on your head, maybe it won't become uncomfortable on your head. So overall, it just depends on what person you are, so keep that in mind. I can't justify for everybody and say, well, it's going to be comfortable for you, it's not going to be comfortable for you. So just keep that in mind as well. When it comes to how hot they get when you're actually on your head, they do get kind of hot, and especially if you're outside in the summer, I would honestly not recommend these headphones if that's your primary goal. If your primary goal is fitness and your primary goal is doing a lot of active exercises, then I would stay away from these headphones, because these do get very hot in there and you will start getting sweaty, and then the leather cups or whatever they are, they will get sweaty, they will get nasty, they will get very just very hot, and it won't be very comfortable for you. I've already experienced that, and that's not really a good feeling. So if you're just going to be using these maybe for casual listening, or maybe if you're going to be in a car all the time or on an airplane all the time, then these are going to be really great headphones for that. And that's what I would recommend. These are not really recommended for activities or exercise or any type of thing like that. If you want something else, you can look somewhere else. Now let's talk about the actual Now let's talk about the actual sound quality from these headphones. How do these actually sound when you're actually listening to music? Well, I can verify that these sound very, very good. For most people out there, I think they'll enjoy the sound. I would actually say that they're some of the best sounding headphones on the market. I know that's a really strong thing to say, but I think, like I said, for most people, they'll be okay with this. One thing I like about these headphones is the fact that they do have a pretty good bass response. They don't have too much bass response, and they don't have too little bass response. I have used Bose products in the past, and I found that there really wasn't enough bass. It was pretty much a flat signature, whereas these have a pretty good bass response. Overall, for most genres, they do a fantastic job, and I've listened to more genres than one. I've been testing these out. I've listened to hip-hop, I've listened to R&B, I've listened to pop, I've listened to rock, I've listened to even jazz. I am a jazz listener. Overall, for most genres, you will find these very, very, very enjoyable, I'm telling you, and you won't really not like the sound signature coming out of these. I'm pretty sure most people will like the sound signature. Fun fact, a lot of people on the internet are actually saying that most people prefer the sound coming out of these than the Bose QC35, but I'm not really surprised about this because this one just feels much more lively, just feels overall better, and with slightly more bass response. I just love the sound coming out of here. I love, love, love it. And fun fact, if you have an Android device that's running Android Oreo or above, then you will get a new it'll make your sound better because there's a new codec, I think, in Android Oreo, which makes the sound much more better. So if you have Android Oreo, it'll make them even sound better. Unfortunately, I didn't test that out because I don't have Android Oreo, but if you have Android Oreo, then this should sound amazing. They'll definitely sound better than they would sound on an iPhone if you were to pair them to an iPhone compared to an Android phone running the latest OS, Oreo or above. They will sound amazing. Now my final verdict of this product: is this product worth it? I can safely say if you end up spending $300 to $350 on the Sony noise canceling headphones, I think for the most part you will be very, very satisfied with this product. I don't think there's one area where you really think that there might be a problem with these headphones. I think you'll find these really enjoyable. Also, I do want to comment one thing too, just thinking about it before I end the video. There's a couple of things I forgot to mention. This does have a touch bar on it, or a touch pad on the side where you control your music. It has no physical controls, and a lot of people out there may be wondering how are those controls compared to actual physical buttons, because as we all know, physical buttons are reliable, but a touchpad could be gimmicky. Honestly, I have to be honest, for the most part it works, but there are times where sometimes I'll want to turn the volume up, but somehow it'll skip the song. But for the most part, you do not have to worry about the actual touchpad going wonky on you. It'll go wonky every once in a while, but do not worry about the touchpad. I've used these 2 to 3 months now every single day, and I use the controls on here all the time, and they work 99% of the time. There's just a couple of occasions where it'll go wonky on me, but it's not enough to make me want to return these headphones, or not enough to make me want to use the touchpad on the side. Would it have been better to actually have physical controls? Without a doubt, it would have been better to have physical controls, but unfortunately all we got is a touchpad on here. I know that there is a microphone on here if you want to talk on the phone as well, but I can't really comment on that because I've only used it once or twice. But the one or two times I have used the built-in microphone on here, I can say it did a very good job, and the other person on the other side said they didn't even tell that I was actually on a Bluetooth headset. So there's that at all. In terms of Bluetooth connectivity, I do actually have some Bluetooth connectivity problems when I walk a little bit too far away from my device, whether that be my laptop, whether that be my smartphone, my PC, or whatever. I do have problems with that. But however, if you look into the actual app that comes with this, because you can install an app that goes with this on your Android and iOS device, I think it's called Sony Connect. You can actually change it to where if you want better signal but a little bit worse sound, or if you want better sound and you want a little bit weaker signal, you can do that. And I currently have it on the mode where I get better sound, but then I get a little bit less connectivity when it comes to the connection. The connection is not that stable, but as long as I have it near me, like in my vicinity, and I'm not really walking away, then for the most part I've never had any drops. I only get drops when I start walking maybe 20, 30, 40 feet away from these headphones, when they're not in my vicinity or not around me. If it's in my pocket or if it's just laying right beside me, then connection issues are no problem, and I've been able to use this and I've had no drops and no problems when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity. But overall, like I said, these headphones are a very good purchase. Maybe they're hard to justify at $350, wait for a sale, or wait for when these go refurbished, but I would honestly highly recommend these. Oh yeah, also one more thing before I head out, I do want to comment about the headbands, because the first version of these headphones actually had a headband cracking problem, and a lot of people were complaining how a lot of Sony products, not just the previous version of these active noise cancelling headphones, but a lot of other Sony headphones had these weak bands, weak plastic and everything. But honestly, for me right now, I can definitely say that I've had no problems with these headphones. I've had no signs of cracking. I've had no signs of wear and tear. But to be honest, I baby my stuff, and I do have OCD, and I am paranoid about my stuff, so I baby these. Most people probably aren't babying their stuff when they actually get their electronics. So maybe that could be the reason, or maybe that they fixed these on the second generation. It was really only with the first generation of this product. I haven't really heard any complaints with the second gen of these Sony noise canceling headphones, but just keep that in mind. There could be a band problem. There could be a cracking band problem on here. The plastics may not be too strong. Honestly, if you do go ahead and spend $300 to $350 on these headphones, what I would really recommend, you getting a warranty on these headphones if you're still not certain if these headphones are going to crack, and maybe you're just paranoid about these headphones actually breaking down on you. So there's just that. But overall, I've had no problems when it comes to any technical difficulties or any physical damage on them. I haven't seen that. But like I said again before I head out, overall a very good pair of headphones. Definitely the noise canceling is A+, and honestly the sounds coming out of here is A+. I can't recommend these headphones enough. I don't know, like I said again, if they're worth $300 to $350. If you can justify the price and you have extra cash and somehow you can get these, then I'm pretty sure you won't be disappointed. Anyway guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.